Imagine waking up to a sky that never clears. The sun is there, but it doesn't shine. It hangs like a pale disk behind a curtain of haze. The air is cold, the light is gray, and the world feels wrong. Welcome to 536 AD, what many historians and scientists now call the worst year to be born in human history. Across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, chroniclers recorded the same eerie phenomenon, a sun that gave no warmth, no brightness. Days were dim, nights were freezing, crops withered in the fields, trees stopped growing, snow fell in summer. In Constantinople, scribes wrote of a sun without rays. In Ireland, monks recorded a failure of bread from the years 536 to 539. In China, summer frost destroyed harvests. And in Syria, Michael the Syrian described a year when the sun darkened and its light did not shine. According to Michael McCormick, a Harvard historian, it was the beginning of one of the worst periods to be alive, if not the worst. People didn't know what was happening. They feared divine punishment. They whispered of omens. Some believed the end of the world had come. Centuries later, science would uncover the cause, a massive volcanic eruption, possibly in Iceland, that spewed ash and sulfur into the stratosphere. The veil of particles spread across the northern hemisphere, blocking sunlight and triggering what we now call a volcanic winter. Temperatures dropped by up to 2.5 degrees Celsius. The sun was obscured for 18 months. Summer snow fell in China. Crops failed across Europe and Asia. Famine spread rapidly. Tree rings from this period show stunted growth. Ice cores from Greenland and Antarctica reveal layers of volcanic debris. The evidence is global. The impact, catastrophic. Contemporary accounts describe a year without summer, a sun without brightness, a world plunged into cold and confusion. Imagine being a farmer in Gaul, watching your wheat rot in the field, or a merchant in Persia unable to trade because roads are blocked by snow in July, or a child in the Andes wondering why the rains never came. The eruption may have lasted days. Its effects lingered for years. Just when things couldn't get worse, they did. In 541 AD, the plague of Justinian struck. It was one of the deadliest pandemics in recorded history, killing up to 50 million people, nearly half the population of Europe. It began in Egypt, spread to Constantinople, and from there, across the empire. Ships carried rats. Rats carried fleas. Fleas carried death. Cities emptied. Trade collapsed. The Eastern Roman Empire teetered. Emperor Justinian himself fell ill, though he survived. Many of his subjects did not. In the Americas, droughts and crop failures destabilized early civilizations. In Mesoamerica, the Maya recorded signs of stress. In the Andes, farmers struggled to coax life from cracked soil. In China, famine led to rebellion. Survival wasn't just hard, it was nearly impossible. This was not a single disaster. It was a cascade, a chain reaction of climate, disease, and collapse. This wasn't a local crisis. It was planetary. Tree rings and ice cores confirmed the climate disruption. Archaeological evidence shows mass migration, abandoned settlements, and sudden cultural shifts. In Scandinavia, entire villages vanished. In Britain, trade networks broke down. In Central Asia, nomadic tribes moved en masse. Even the Maya and early Andean civilizations show signs of upheaval during this period. It was a global bottleneck, a moment when humanity came dangerously close to collapse. And yet, even in the darkest years, people adapted. They migrated. They innovated. They endured. The echoes of 536 AD ripple through history. Some scholars believe it helped trigger the rise of Islam, the fall of empires, and the reshaping of global power. So if you were born in 536 AD, your odds of survival were slim. You'd face famine, disease, freezing temperatures, and societal collapse, all before your 10th birthday. And yet, Some survived. Somehow, against all odds, the human story continued. By the late 540s, the skies began to clear. The sun returned. Slowly, crops revived. New kingdoms rose from the ashes of the old. Today, we live in comfort compared to those years. But the story of 536 AD reminds us how fragile civilization can be and how resilient we are when tested. Thanks for listening to 5 Minutes of History. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and share.